Hey, welcome back to another episode of the Mentoring Minute on the Educational AD podcast. We'll get to Dan Comeau in just a minute, but let's give a shout out to our podcast sponsors. Huddle, they use video and analytics to help teams play better. Sideline Interactives, indoor scoring tables, and video boards. Wall of Fame by Vital Signs, Hometown Ticketing, and the Athletic Surveys by LifeTrack, who sponsor our AD Toolbox. Thanks to our sponsors for making all of this happen. And now let's meet Dan Comeau in the Mentoring Minute. Well, again, welcome everyone to another episode of the Mentoring Minute with Dan Comeau. We're recording this on Valentine's Day, the day after the Super Bowl. So, Dan, I hope you're recovered from all the weekend activity. What do you have for us today on the Mentoring Minute?
Well, Jake, I was reading an article or a post on the Educational AD. I think you've heard of it. And it was from Thomas Blankenship, and he was talking about a situation that he had in his gym with a group of rowdy and uncontrollable parents, to the point he had to bring in law enforcement to calm things down. And, you know, being a new athletic director, and he even said in the article that he wishes he had somebody that he could have bounced ideas off of earlier in his career as an athletic director, and really didn't know how to handle the situation. And today I'd like to talk about some of the things you can do as an athletic director to be proactive to stop things from happening in your gym that are not necessarily sportsmanlike.
Yeah, I believe I did see that. And it's such an important topic. I've seen so many posts lately from state associations and from athletic directors like us about the challenge that we're all experiencing in recruiting and retaining officials, which is really directly related to this type of thing, you know, fan behavior, poor fan behavior. So great topic. I'm excited to hear what your tips are. Let's take a real quick break and then we'll be back. This is the Mentoring Minute with Dan Comeau on the Educational AD podcast. We want to thank Violet Defense for their support of the Mentoring Minute and the Educational AD podcast. Violet Defense is dedicated to protecting our world from germs by bringing the power of UV disinfection to everyday spaces. Their patented technology enables them to harness the power of the sun to incorporate ultraviolet light into products and environments like never before. Whether you're ready to implement some of their existing products, or if you'd like to explore researching and developing a custom deployment of their technology for your school's athletic department, Violet Defense has the solutions and the experience you need. Go to violetdefense.com for more information about how they can help your athletic department be safer for your students and your teams. Hey, we're back with Dan Comeau on the Mentoring Minute. Dan, what sort of tips do you have for us regarding a positive fan experience and crowd behavior?
Well, I think the first thing is to get control of your home crowd, and I think that starts with parent meetings before the season starts. Let them know that this is educational-based athletics and not entertainment athletics, and you don't have the right to ridicule and throw things and get all excited at a game. At the events, however, I think it's standard procedure that obviously the athletic director is going to be there, and maybe one or two administrators from your school to cover the game. One thing I found that some administrators don't want to be at certain games, and they may like a sport, have them pick the games that they want to cover. That way it gives them ownership into the game. Anticipate your trouble areas in the gym. We had some situations where our fans would sit behind the visitors' bench and kind of taunt them, discourage that. And when you do have administrators there, strategically place them, one on the visitor side, one on the home side, so that they can monitor and watch things that are going on. Keep yourself free as an athletic director. Make sure you can float so that you can't be taking tickets. If something breaks out in the stands, you can't leave the money box kind of thing. Make yourself a floater, make yourself free to be able to hit the hot spots when needed. When we talk about law enforcement or school security, there are going to be some games that there's just not going to be fans there because the team travels from far away and it's a low-key game. But when it's a crosstown rivalry, if you can't afford to hire police, let the police department know or law enforcement know that, hey, I got a big game coming up. Can you keep your road patrol kind of close to the school for the evening in case I do have a problem? If I have to call 911, you're pretty close by. Parents are going to start yelling and screaming in the stands. If you have a parent doing that, usually the officials will stop the game and ask them to have the parent removed. If not, if you see something, go warn the parent. Look, you can't act this way in a high school setting. So I'm going to ask you to leave, or I'm going to have you removed, or you need to sit down, be quiet, and watch the game. We had a situation at Sebastian River High School where my parents were getting rowdy. It was an away game for us. And there was road patrol there. Instead of taking the parent out the back door quickly, he walked her across the court. She did a cartwheel, and I would give her a 10 for the cartwheel. It was a great cartwheel. And then she flicked off the opponent's bench and fans. That could have been a horrible mess. Try to get yourself situated where get that person out the nearest exit, not walk across the court and get into a situation like that. I have it on video. It was, I use it as a teaching tool. Radio communication with your administration. Try to have radios there so that you can communicate quickly and effectively. And at the end of the game, I got three things. People are going to flood the court to get out. Get them out as fast as you can. Get them out in the air, and hopefully it's cold or rainy and they'll leave real quick. Get the people out of the gym if that's your venue. And teams, get the teams in the locker rooms right away. I know sometimes the coach likes to talk to the team at the bench. Discourage that. Get them into the locker room so that parents can't surround the coach and you know, get in a situation where it's going to be uncomfortable for the coach and maybe the kids. You know, when a parent approaches a coach after the game, it's usually not to say, hey, you did a great job. And I would always tell my coaches, look, tell the parent, I can't meet with you now. I'm in charge of X amount of players. I need to be with them and get them into the locker room as soon as you can. And that has squelched a lot of issues at our gym. So that's all I have for today, Jake, and happy Valentine's Day.
Okay. Well, thank you, sir. And again, I know you know this, my last couple of years as a AD before I retired, and now in my retirement, I kind of returned to officiating as a high school basketball official. And down in my area of Florida, I've been quite busy as an official, and I can say that it's been a good experience for me. And I think it's related directly to the tips that you just suggested, that the athletic directors, they have a plan in place, they have support staff, there's either school administration there, or in some cases, you know, security, but the issues just don't seem to come up. And when there is that one parent or fan or whatever, they are immediately, you know, just spoken to, hey, you know, settle down. And I think maybe I've seen one or two situations where a fan was escorted out and it was done quickly, but the things you mentioned, they work. And so ADs, if you're listening and you're not doing these things, you know, make sure you try to incorporate them. Dan, as always, you got great information. If one of our listeners wants to reach out and pick your brain a little bit more, how do they get in touch with you?
Well, my email address is dcomeau19@comcast.net, and either myself or my dog will answer.
There you go. Hey, it wouldn't be a podcast if we didn't have a dog or a phone going on. For our listeners, remember these Zoom recordings are uploaded to the Educational AD Podcast YouTube channel. We appreciate you listening. Come back every Tuesday for more mentoring minutes and almost every day for the Educational AD Podcast. Thanks for listening. We'll see you next time. Once again, we want to thank our sponsors for their support of the Mentoring Minute. Violet Defense, ultraviolet light products to make your environment safer. Sideline interactive indoor scoring tables and video boards, great fundraising devices through sponsorships, and also just a great game day environment. Huddle, use video and analytics to help your teams and your athletes play better. Hometown Ticketing, which is the leading digital ticketing provider to schools and colleges. Wall of Fame by Vital Signs. Recognize your student athletes' achievements from both the past and the present. And Athletic Surveys by LifeTrack, who sponsor the AD Toolbox segment of our podcast. Thanks to all of our sponsors. And remember, this is the Mentoring Minute every Tuesday on the Educational AD Podcast.